Hello, I'm Jake Boudreau, civic journalist at Tello Community Television. This week on The Record, a provincial deer draw attracts interest from local hunters. The RCMP is investigating a report of vandalism in Petit de Grat, and an Ontario man was killed in a two-vehicle collision on Highway 105 near Port Hastings. Climate change adaptation projects in local municipalities received federal government funding. EverWind Fuels hosted a christening ceremony on August 21st at the Port Hawkesbury Pier for its new tugboat fleet, the EverWind Pride, the EverWind Rose Gold, and Dawson Duck, which are Damen ASD 3212 and Damen RSD 2513 tugs. Damen was selected to build a new fleet after an extensive selection process, EverWind said, noting the vessels measure 32 meters and 25 meters in length, with 80 tons and 65 tons of bollard pull. Last fall, EverWind announced an investment of approximately $50 million to launch the lower emission tugboats. EverWind said the tugboat fleet meets International Maritime Organization Tier 3 emission standards, reducing nitrogen oxide emissions by 80% and carbon dioxide emissions by 25%. They said the fleet will play a key role in servicing the Strait of Canso and supporting the export of green hydrogen and ammonia to global markets. The company said the investment will be supported by an expansion of EverWind's marine team by approximately 15 new employees responsible for safety and tugboat operations. These new advanced vessels will be owned locally and will replace EverWind's contracted fleet of 3 tugboats which were built between 1992 and 2004. The Nova Scotia Before and After program is expanding to local schools. Université Sainte-Anne received government funding to offer training in early childhood education. But first, the provincial government is demolishing 2 motels near the Port Hastings rotary. Nova Scotia Public Works spokesperson Gary Andrea wrote via email that the provincial government owns the former Sky Lodge and Causeway Inn that are located on either side of the Port Hastings rotary. According to media reports, the province purchased the properties earlier this year as part of upgrades planned for the Port Hastings intersection project. Andrea wrote that the department is in the process of preparing the tenders for demolition, and the project is in the design phase. Andrea wrote that work remains on schedule and is expected to be complete in late 2028. The outcome of the tenders will determine the timeline, he wrote. Both the Sky Lodge and Causeway Inn have been unoccupied for years, and residents of the area have expressed concerns about the deteriorating structures, the media reports state. Andrea wrote that the department has taken precautions to prevent vandalism and trespassing, which includes boarding up windows, placing concrete barriers at the entrances, and having a locked gate around the property. Joining me is the Director of Wildlife for the Department of Natural Resources. Welcome back, Andrew Boyne.
Nice to be here.
The Department of Natural Resources announced that hunters can enter the draw for one of 5,825 antlerless deer hunting stamps for the 2025 hunting season. The antlerless deer draw helps with management of the province's deer population by allowing licensed hunters to harvest a female deer in areas where deer numbers are higher, the province said, noting this supports healthy and balanced wildlife populations. How much does such a hunt impact those populations? Is there data or numbers that you guys have or figures?
Yeah, I mean, I think we sort of look at it as being sort of one of the tools in the toolbox. I mean, I think there's undoubtedly a connection between the number of deer taken in a managed hunt versus the overall population. But admittedly, the data that we use to determine the status of populations is an index, and it certainly shows that deer populations are increasing, and that is continuing to happen. So undoubtedly has an impact on the overall population, but I think some of the concerns that we see are sort of in pretty localized areas within certain municipalities, and the way that we're managing deer at the sort of deer zone level means we might be increasing harvest, in one part of the zone, but because we're not having sort of the licensed harvest isn't happening like in downtown cores of small towns. So we may see a decrease in the population, but we're still going to see human deer interactions.
Now, the department said stamps are available for 5 of the 10 deer management zones in mainland Nova Scotia and both zones in Cape Breton. Antlerless deer stamps are not needed for the other mainland zones because they're open for harvesting deer of either sex, the province noted. So why is it that zones such as this one, like Richmond County, are not open to harvesting deers of either sex since the deer population has increased in recent years?
Yeah, I mean, by default, our harvest is a antlered deer only harvest. The impact of taking a male out of the population is not the same as taking a female out of the population because a male can breed with multiple females. In areas where we see populations increasing to the point where we think that they pose a bit of a concern, the first step that we do is we put in an antlerless deer draw to allow you to take males or females out of the population. We then sort of go to the next phase, which would be we increase number of antlerless stamps. Then we would go to potentially to either any sex hunt, or we'd add bonus stamps. So I think this is just sort of an incremental process that we're going through. We first issued antlerless deer stamps in 2021. We started with 75. We've now increased it up to 300. And so we're just sort of incrementally increasing the pressure. And we do this every single year, review the population. And so in the future, we may go to an either sex hunt.
Now, the province said an antlerless deer hunting stamp permits a hunter to harvest an antlerless deer in a specific deer management zone, but it does not increase the bag limit, which is 1 deer. Why is it that no decision was made to increase the bag limit as well?
Yeah, that's sort of the final thing that we probably do by way of sort of increasing the pressure. The final thing would be to sort of increase a blanket bag limit increase to 2. Right now, you can already take 2 deer because you can take 1 through the muzzleloader archery season and then 1 through the regular general deer season. In addition to that, we also issue bonus stamps in areas where we have issues. So right now in both zones 111 and 112 on Cape Breton Island, we are issuing bonus stamps. And so what that means is that if you take a deer, you can come into one of our offices and purchase a second stamp on a first come first served basis that will allow you to take a second deer, or if you've already taken 2, will allow you to take a third deer. So it's again 1 step closer to getting to a full increase in bag limits. And it's always about trying to manage the population in such a way that we don't overreact and result in unintended consequences.
Now, the antlerless deer stamp must be accompanied by a general deer stamp or archery / muzzleloader stamp. And both the general deer stamp and antlerless deer stamp become valid when applied to a hunting license with a wildlife habitat stamp, the province noted. Bonus stamps, which allow harvesters to take a second deer if they have already harvested one, will also be available in both Cape Breton zones and most of the mainland zones, the province said. These stamps are limited and available on a first-come, first-served basis, and they said the second deer can be either a buck or a doe. Are there thoughts on continuing the bonus stamps in coming seasons?
I mean, I think so. Like we only issued last year was the first year we issued bonus stamps, and we had 200 last year, and this year we've increased it to 300. So like I said, we review this every single year. So I think undoubtedly the bonus stamp is something that we will keep going for the foreseeable future until we sort of sort out exactly how we're going to manage things. Because the other aspect of it too is, there are hunters who are also looking to make sure that there are still hunting opportunities, right? So it's a balance between ensuring that there is opportunities for hunters, but at the same time recognizing that increasing deer population poses problems sort of from a human health and safety perspective, from a property damage perspective, but then also in Cape Breton particularly, we're concerned about moose. Deer carry a brainworm that is relatively benign to deer, but is lethal to moose. And so the increasing deer population that we're seeing in Cape Breton has us concerned about what the impact is on the moose population.
The deadline to apply for these stamps was on July 31st, and the results were posted online on August 15th. So how many applications did you receive for the draw? And if you don't have exact numbers, how much public interest was there that you can provide?
Yeah, in zone 111, it was very high. We had over 1,000 entries for 300 antlerless stamps.
And zone 111, what does that cover?
Yeah, so I should have been specific. So basically in Cape Breton we have two deer zones. 112 is essentially the highlands, and 111 is the rest of the island.
Okay. So that you would qualify that as a good level of interest from the public?
Yeah, and I think yeah, absolutely. And last year we had only had 200 stamps or 200 antlerless deer stamps, and I think we had about 900. So I think there is interest in it. I mean, that being said, despite the fact that we issued 200 antlerless deer stamps last year, we only had 100 reports of individuals taking females. So last year, the harvest in Zone 111, which includes Richmond County, was 650 males and 98 females. So hunters, even though they may get an antlerless deer stamp, are still preferentially taking males for sure.
No, as you said more than once, that you review this every year. So after this hunt is over, I assume you guys are going to go and crunch the numbers into data and see what it tells you, and then make your decisions for next year based on that, I assume.
Absolutely, and I think it's a mix. It's a combination of what we call our pellet group inventories, which is how we sort of get a sense for density of deer in the different zones, and those essentially involve us running set transects every year and counting deer droppings, which gives us sort of a general index of what the deer density would be. So we look at that. We look at hunter success rates, and then we do look at the interactions with humans, and then looking at the goose population as well, and trying to think about how we manage deer. I think last year we had the same number of bonus stamps in the Highland portion, but we only had 204 applicants for that one. So everybody who applied for a bonus stamp, last year in the Highlands actually got one. So it is interesting trying to manage interest as well. And so the fact that we have so many folks interested, in an antlerless deer stamp would make us think about whether it's at the point where we need to open it up to both sexes. But again, that's something we'll look at when we get the data at the end of the winter.
Well, that's great. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to sit down, speak with me, and answer my questions. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you.
On August 9th at around 9 a.m., Richmond County District RCMP responded to a report of vandalism to an older model red Corvette that was parked overnight in front of the Petit de Grat baseball field. Between 1 a.m. and 8 a.m., the RCMP said the Corvette's front tires were punctured, its paint scratched, and its back taillight smashed out. Anyone with information is asked to call Richmond County District RCMP at 902-226-2533 or contact Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers. An Ontario man was killed in a two-vehicle collision in Inverness County. Inverness County District RCMP said the fatal collision took place on Highway 105 near Lexington on August 20th at around 1:25 p.m. Inverness County District RCMP, Fire Services, and EHS responded to the scene located between Longstretch Road and Lake Horton Road. Investigators learned that a Chevrolet CZT and a Jeep collided before both vehicles came to rest in the ditch on the opposite side of the road, the RCMP said. The RCMP said the driver of the Chevrolet, a 52-year-old man from Ontario, was pronounced deceased, while the driver of the Jeep, a 32-year-old woman from Eskazoni, was transported to hospital by EHS with serious injuries. A portion of Highway 105 between Port Hastings and Lexington was closed for several hours, the RCMP added. Julie DeBruzen, Minister of Environment and Climate Change, and Brittany Merrifield, Federation of Canadian Municipalities board member, announced about $5.2 million in investments through the Green Municipal Fund's Local Leadership for Climate Adaptation initiative. The federal government said the projects will strengthen climate resilience through climate adaptation plans, climate-focused asset management strategies, and community-wide climate risk assessments. Under the Climate Risk Assessment and Prioritized Adaptation Plan, the Municipality of the County of Inverness and the Municipality of the County of Richmond will each receive $70,000. The federal government said communities across Canada are feeling the impacts of climate change right now, from increased flooding to severe storms and devastating wildfires. In partnership with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, the federal government said the funding will equip local governments with vital funding and skills development support, enabling long-term proactive climate adaptation planning and project implementation, and ensuring more resilient communities and equitable access to climate adaptation resources. Canada's climate has changed and will continue to change, the federal government said, noting that building climate resilience is economically smart, fiscally responsible, and essential to protecting Canadians and the places they call home. Municipalities across Canada are on the front lines of responding to the realities of climate change, said de Brusen. The Government of Canada, in partnership with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, is stepping up to help communities tackle both today's challenges and tomorrow's risks. Through smart investments, proactive planning, and strong collaboration, we can build a sustainable economy and create communities that are more resilient, vibrant, and prosperous for generations to come, the minister added.
My name is Lois Landry, and I am Warden of the Municipality of the County of Richmond. On behalf of EverWind, I'm so pleased to welcome you here to Port Hawkesbury Pier for the christening of the EverWind Pride, EverWind Rose Gold, and Dawson Duck. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are gathered today in Mi'kmaq, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This land is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, and we acknowledge the enduring relationship between the Mi'kmaq and these lands and waters. We also acknowledge the long history and continued presence of African Nova Scotian communities who have lived and contributed here for over 400 years and have deep roots in this region. Today's celebration marks an important moment for the Strait area. These tugboats are more than vessels. They are a commitment to our communities, to safer and more sustainable marine services, and to building the infrastructure we need for Nova Scotia's clean energy future. Before we begin, a few quick notes. There is a portable bathroom at the end of the pier for public washroom use. There are hot dogs and hamburgers available also at the end of the pier for everyone to enjoy. Please be mindful of your safety while near the water. We are extremely grateful to be joined today by Canada's Minister of Environment and Climate Change, the Honourable Julie de Brusen, who will help us celebrate the launch of this new fleet and the important role it will play in Canada's clean energy transition. Minister de Brusen was first elected to as the Member of Parliament for Toronto Danforth in 2015 and has previously served as the Parliamentary Secretary to Minister Wilkinson at Energy and Natural Resources Canada and as the Parliamentary Secretary for her predecessor, Stephen Guilbeault, at Environment and Climate Change Canada. She was appointed by Prime Minister Carney as Minister of Environment and Climate Change Canada in May of 2025. We appreciate the Minister making the journey to our community, and we look forward to her remarks. Minister de Brusen, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Lois, for that warm welcome, and thank you to all of you for arranging for perhaps the most perfect and beautiful day for an announcement like this. It's truly wonderful to be here with all of you. Bonjour à toutes et à tous, and hello everyone. I'm really pleased to be here in beautiful Strait Peninsula area. And I want to begin by acknowledging that we gather on the unceded and ancestral territory of Mi'kmaq people whose ancestors signed the treaties of peace and friendship. Thank you for joining us today. So, and also, we have many people here in attendance. I see all of you gathered outside. Thank you for joining for what's really, truly wonderful day of celebration. So, Port Hawkesbury has a proud history anchored in shipping and shipbuilding, and this sector remains a cornerstone of the local economy. Le Canada possède le plus long littoral du monde, plus de 2 millions de lacs, et plus de 8500 milles fleuves et indéniablement nation maritime. Le transport maritime fait rouler notre économie et relie nos productivités d'un océan à l'autre. Mais nous savons aussi qu'il entraîne des répercussions sur l'environnement. Transportation is Canada's second largest source of greenhouse gas emissions. And working as a sector to get to net zero is essential for the future of our country and our communities like the ones we're here in the Atlantic. Now, I don't need to tell anyone here that Nova Scotia is on the front lines of climate change. It is right here in the Atlantic, facing flooding, intense storms, and a summer of extended dryness, increasing the occurrence and severity of wildfires. Like the wildfires we're seeing right now in the Annapolis Valley and in Halifax, which have forced community members from the homes. We can't afford to stand still, and we won't. We know the real and rising impacts of climate change are urgent realities, and we are taking action. At the same time, the global economy is undergoing rapid transformation. Countries and corporations are shifting towards clean technologies, carbon neutrality, and sustainable practices. Canada has a choice right now. We can lead this transition and reap all of the benefits of being an early mover, or we can be left behind by it and watch our economy and our environment pay the price. The bottom line is that climate change is an economic imperative, and climate action needs to be a core element of economic strategy. We need to build a climate competitive Canada, and we need clean fuels like hydrogen and projects like EverWind to help us do it. Mon travail en tant que ministre est de lutter contre les changements climatiques, de protéger les collectivités et de construire un Canada plus fort et plus durable. Des projets comme celui-ci mis en œuvre à EverWind nous aident à réaliser notre objectif de bâtir un Canada pour l'avenir. Today's ceremony is a key milestone on the path towards a thriving industry that will create good jobs and investment right here in Nova Scotia, all while protecting the environment. Last October, the government announced up to $22.5 million to support EverWind Fuels with their Point Tupper Green Hydrogen and Green Ammonia Marine Terminal project. This funding will help eliminate barriers to adopting green ammonia equipment and infrastructure, while also encouraging industry-led partnerships and investments to accelerate the use of this net zero fuel, helping to, yeah, it's worth it. Like, let's say that. You know what? I think it's really important to take that moment to celebrate it because we're showing how we can decarbonize operations and we're showing how this can be how we drive clean growth. It's really something about the economy and at the same time protecting our communities. So it's really a wonderful day to be able to notice and to celebrate that. Today's funding comes from the Clean Port Stream of the Green Shipping Corridor Program. The stream encourages partnerships and investments from industry to speed up the use of emerging technologies. It helps make these technologies more reliable and ready for use, and it removes obstacles to adopting cleaner equipment and infrastructure. Once the details of this investment are finalized, the funding will help EverWind Fuels to upgrade their harbor facilities to safely load and transport green ammonia to overseas markets, and of course, help fund the 3 new tugboats that we are blessing today. L'annonce d'aujourd'hui démontre une fois de plus que le gouvernement du Canada prend les changements climatiques au sérieux et nous mettons en œuvre pour réduire les émissions dans certains des secteurs les plus importants. Our efforts will strengthen the Canadian marine industry and ensure cleaner environment for Nova Scotians and Canadians at large, all at the same time while positioning Canada as a clean energy superpower. As Minister of the Environment and Climate Change, I can promise you this. We will continue to work alongside Canadian innovators to do everything in our power to reduce emissions, fight climate change, and build a Canada that's not only climate resilient, but climate competitive. Let's continue to work to build a strong Canada together, build Canada well, and to build Canada sustainably. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you very much, Minister. Our next speaker is the CEO of EverWind, Trent Vichy. Many of you will know Trent as the driving force behind the Point Tupper Green Fuels project and the significant investment that has been injected into the existing terminal facility, resulting in the need to bring these new vessels to the Strait of Canso. Please join me in welcoming Trent.
Thank you, Lois. And thank you, everyone, for being here today. It's great to see you all, and it's a great day to celebrate this milestone. First of all, I want to acknowledge the wildfires that are impacting, many Nova Scotians at the moment. Express my deep gratitude to the brave first responders out there keeping it safe. This is a proud day for EverWind, our First Nation partners, Strait of Canso, and for Nova Scotia. The EverWind Pride, the EverWind Rose Gold, and Dorsett Duck represent a significant investment in this region of over $50 million to strengthen our marine capabilities, create good jobs, and prepare for a clean energy future. These tugs aren't just here to support our own operations, they'll be here to serve industry throughout the entire strait area as they do today. So it's providing long-term support with brand new tugs for the future of the area. The tugs were built to the highest environmental standards, they'll reduce hull emissions, they'll improve marine traffic safety. They'll help position Nova Scotia as a global leader in sustainable shipping and clean fuels. They also offer an important local benefits. So enhanced firefighting, green spill response capabilities, critical items to protect our communities. They're also part of the Point Up Green Fuels project. It'll be one of the first plants anywhere producing green hydrogen and ammonia at large scale. Well, we're enormously proud of the progress we've made here together to get to this point. This project isn't just about making fuels, though. It's about helping heavy industries globally, but also building a supply chain of clean fuels here locally. You can't invest in technologies that use green fuels without supply. That is a critical part of what we do, both globally, but also right here in Atlantic Canada. Nova Scotians can benefit from this generational opportunity of preparing our economy for a green future. The words the Minister said resonated. It's also important to know that we can do this efficiently, smart. We can turn this into like a powerhouse industry if we do it well. The technologies from when we started are better today. The efficiency of turning electricity into hydrogen is 25% more efficient, and that's happened in 2 years. So we're early in this phase. So when people talk about green fuels and fossil fuels, we're going to try and make it as on parity with fossil fuels. That's the goal ultimately, and that will drive growth and affordability. We made the promise to build this new clean energy economy and to ensure opportunities for Nova Scotians. That means well-paying, sustainable jobs. It means providing opportunities for people who have family here to be with their family. I've heard 3 stories in the last few hours of people who've come back here as a result of some of the work we're doing, but they can be with their kids. That's important. It also means training people. We're so proud of the partnership we've had with the town Port Hawkesbury and Richmond, Nova Scotia Community College, and the Marine Institute, where about 70% of the new hires were both trained right here. And I want to thank many people who've helped us along this, particularly Minister Brusen. Thank you for being here today. Really, it's a really meaningful gesture. Thank you. The Government of Canada, who we've been working with to get to this point. It's a lot of work. And the staff, behind the scenes work, it's tremendous. The Nova Scotia government and their team. So, Minister Joe, your team, Premier Houston's team, we've had a lot of support and we've been working well together. It really shows it. And our First Nation partners, we've got Chief Gary here. His leadership, his support, his partnership, quite honestly, it's meant the world. It's been really incredible. When you get to partner with people who are, doing meaningful things other than what they do with us on the world stage, it's that's really appreciated. Those sort of partnerships are really special. Thank you. To to Warden Lyles and Mayor Brenda, being fierce supporters from the start. I can't thank you enough. We really so. Hopefully, you're starting to see some benefits coming today. Stick with us and we'll more come. It's really an honour to be walking this path with everybody. I think it provides an example of reconciliation, community partnership with government, and driving a clean, sustainable future. It really has the elements of, what is a good thing to be spending time doing this. And a big thanks to the people in Australia, community leaders, team at the EverWind Terminal has been fantastic. It's a huge thing in terms of operations. Been growing people there. I think there's a spring in the step when you start to see tangible things starting to show up. I'm really excited. This study is really about people here. What it means for them. Proud to be part of helping bring that to life. I'm also pleased to welcome our 14 new team members who will operate and support these tugs. I can't wait to see you in action. I know a few two of the boats are already in action right now. But today, it's not about tugboats. It's about Nova Scotia standard. Showing the world of business, winning begets more winning, and really proud to be pushing to get that spark going, because there's incredible talent, and so it's really about momentum, building on momentum, and excited to do that. Today we're starting with the tug fleet. This is the latest milestone, and hopefully we'll be celebrating the next major milestone in the near future. We are working hard and it's moving along. Thank you so much.
In your talk, you mentioned that the next milestone is coming up. I guess, what is that next milestone?
Wind. It's finalization of the wind to provide the power for that's the next clear, obvious milestone. And then the milestone after that is, the laws being finalized in Europe and some options, and that'll be offtake, and that'll be the milestone for the plant. But the wind can be standalone. A few things to do, but it's well on track. And look, we're tracking, but we don't control all of the external variables, so we're ready.
And when you're talking about offshore wind,
no, I'm not talking about offshore wind. I'm talking about onshore wind that we've for our phase one. Roughly 650 megawatts that we've been in development on for a few years now. That's getting close to a point where we can turn shovels in the ground. A few more pieces to come into place. So, but it's tracking.
Is there a rough, obviously, like you said, external factors, but is there a rough sort of internal timeline you're hoping for with that? Or
I think Q1 of 2026. I mean, again, there's we've got a high degree of confidence there. If there's slips there, it's it's like tracking. There's just one or two key variables that aren't in our tight control. One or two, but not many left. So
maybe you can talk about the voyage. I believe it was 85 days at sea from Vietnam, where they were manufactured here to the Strait, and I believe it arrived last month, sometime, the tugs.
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about that journey and the fact that it's now finished and you guys are celebrating this.
I'm incredibly grateful for the crews that actually undertook the voyage. It was they were out in the sea there. I think they started their journey roughly in May, and they got here, and they go through they're a long way from land, and while they're big vessels, they encounter some big seas, and it's a long ride. Our partners at the airport actually picked them up, and the crew, and they said that they were in incredibly good spirits and really excited, and look, they're professionals, but it was a long journey. I was tracking it on satellite app, watching it every single day as they make their journey and across the ocean. I think it was the longest journey that Damon had done for delivery of the tugs, or close to it in its history.
Now, you guys released results of a study that I don't know if that confirmed what you already knew, and now you have this celebration here of these tugs. So does it feel more real as we go along, and the community can see it, and everybody can kind of touch it now almost?
It's always felt real to me, but it's nice to be able to show things that we're spending on money that are sitting here versus things we're spending on money that people can't see, which is there's a lot of money on studies, and people may not fully appreciate it, but we have it's close to 17 Met Towers up at the moment. We have one of the largest wind measuring campaigns going on, and maybe the largest in North America here in Nova Scotia right now. So before you can build wind, you need like years of data. So we have that. We're actually putting up some more Met Towers, but studies as well. Like, we've invested like tens of millions into this, and you can't build these investments without that. So if you decide tomorrow you want to build it, well, you'd be waiting years. We've made that time investment, money investment. We started that 3 years ago. That would become apparent and real as we get into action. But I can assure you, it feels very, very real for the team. We're working hard. But nice to show the time. Really nice, I'm excited about that. It's nice to see everyone here.
Thank you, Trent. Now I'm honored to introduce the Honorable Trevor Woodrow, Minister of Energy for Nova Scotia and MLA for Richmond County, to share a few words. Minister?
Thank you, Your Worship. We have a bit of an inside joke. Lois went to Rolls Royce, and she calls me Minister. We've known each other for a long time. Great to be here with everybody. Glad I got the introduction. It's certainly an honor to represent Premier Beeston here today, who sends his regrets and also his congratulations on this exciting milestone for Nova Scotia's green energy sector and clean energy sector in general. And it's really nice to be here with certainly the others that are representing, our First Nations, Chief Paul, and Government of Canada Minister, and our local municipal elected officials as well. We're glad to be here today, and everybody that's here celebrating with us. And today represents a significant investment in marine transportation right here in the Strait area, which has become a hotbed of clean energy activity in Nova Scotia. This is another step forward in the province's vision to become a global energy powerhouse, a vision that EverWind is helping us achieve. The production and export of energy right here in Nova Scotia is a significant economic opportunity that we cannot ignore. The government is confident that this province has what it takes to make it happen. We are reminded of the reasons every day. Tariffs and trade wars have highlighted the vital importance of energy security, not to mention that Nova Scotia now has one of the lowest GDPs per capita in North America. This can't continue, and our government has been actively pursuing opportunities to chart a new course. Thankfully, Nova Scotia has the advantages we need to transition to a clean economy. Our winds, which it's a nice, beautiful day, but I encourage the minister to come check us out in November when the winds are really blowing, and you can see what we have here as an opportunity. We also have the highest tides in the world here in Nova Scotia. We have the critical minerals which can help build clean energy infrastructure, and our strategic location on the eastern seaboard, just across the pond from the markets in Europe, and a deep ice-free superports, just like this one behind me here in the Strait of Cancer. And perhaps most importantly, we have the will and the determination to become a recognized global player in the clean energy market, exporting and drawing investment and innovation to Nova Scotia. Clean energy is a game changer for Nova Scotia and will provide long-term energy security and generational economic opportunity and benefits for Nova Scotians. That is why the government of Nova Scotia will continue to support the sector and companies like EverWind, who will help bring our clean energy to global markets. And when people ask me if this is possible, I just point to the Strait of Canada right here. We are on an aggressive path. And we have a premier who is working hard to attract energy investments to Nova Scotia. We have a green hydrogen action plan, an offshore wind roadmap, and designated offshore wind areas. And we are ready to put wind to work through the Wind West project, which would be a game changer for the province and for our country. With the right infrastructure, we have an opportunity to send Nova Scotia's wind energy west to power other parts of Canada. By becoming an energy exporter, we can secure long-term prosperity in Nova Scotia. In short, we are signaling loud and clear that we're moving forward in creating jobs. And our message is simple. Nova Scotia is open for business. And our government is committed to working with businesses and investors to bring more projects, more growth, and more prosperity to our shores. We may be a small province geographically, but we are punching above our weight. And I'm proud of the progress we've made so far. By embracing all the opportunities that Nova Scotia has, we are starting to see the benefits and results. We are moving forward and moving on with green hydrogen, an industry that can provide clean energy and add $5 billion to our economy. And EverWind employs many people in the Strait area. And I know that number is expected to keep growing. And friends, I am excited about what's up next for EverWind. And rest assured, our government is there to support you every step of the way. As you ramp up to help Nova Scotia's energy, Nova Scotia's energy markets both home and abroad. So together we are stronger, and we're building stronger and cleaner and more prosperous province. And I look forward to celebrating with you all in the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor. Our final speaker is someone who works tirelessly for her community and for the Strait area, the Mayor of Port Hawkesbury, Brenda Chisholm. Please welcome Mayor Brenda.
Thank you, Lois, and welcome to the Port Hawkesbury Pier, everyone. I want to acknowledge all of our honored guests that are here today, and also members from the community. It's truly exciting to see the significant investment in the Strait of Canso, in our communities, and in our future growth. The Strait of Canso has always been a hub for industry, shipping, and innovation. And today's christening shows that we are continuing to build on that strong foundation. EverWind's investment is about more than 3 new vessels. It's about prosperity and growth for our region. It's also about new jobs, new skills, and the confidence that Canadian-owned infrastructure is here to service the Strait area for years to come. The work EverWind is doing with the Point to Green Fuels project will place our region at the forefront of the national clean energy transition. That is great news for our community. It's even better news for the environment, for global climate action, and for Nova Scotians for many generations to come. On behalf of the town of Port Hawkesbury and Town Council, I know we do have some councillors here today. I want to thank EverWind so much for choosing to invest here in the Strait of Canso, for working with our communities as partners, and for showing what is possible when industry and many orders of government and local community leaders work together towards a shared vision. And also thanks to everyone who has attended today. We are so pleased to see our communities as excited about this announcement and christening as possible. So thank you so much.
It is now my pleasure to welcome the Stony Bear Singers, a vibrant embodiment of Mi'kmaq powwow music, cultural pride, and storytelling. Based in Eskasoni, within the Mi'kmaq district of Unama'ki, they have been performing since 2002, blending traditional powwow and contemporary styles, much of it in the Mi'kmaq language. Their music creates space for healing, unity, and connection. Joining them are Leon Julian of Eskasoni First Nation, who dances men's grass, symbolizing blessings and protection of the grounds. Son Trey will also join, dancing the same style. Kate Jadis, also from Eskasoni, who dances the old-style women's jingle, a healing dance originating with the Ojibwe peoples. Kate and Leon's daughter will join her in dancing the jingle today. Please join me in welcoming the Stony Bear singers, Kate and Leon and their children. the Stony Bear singers and Kate Leon and their family for sharing that spectacular performance. We are honored to have Jeff Ward share a Mi'kmaq prayer as conductor of ceremonies today. Jeff is a husband, father, and grandfather, and the general manager of Number 2 Heritage Firm, a dedicated community volunteer, community leader, powwow FC, drummer, dancer, keynote speaker, spiritual leader with the White Eagle, Sundance, and conductor of ceremonies. He brings deep cultural knowledge and care to everything. We offer tobacco as a sign of respect to offer us a prayer.
Wait. Before I begin, I can hear a big Tahoe up there. Can we hear Tahoe? Raise our left arm, connected right to our heart. Say Tahoe! Can you hear that beautiful drum? One of the most amazing groups in Atlantic Canada, if not the best group in Atlantic Canada. Let's give them a big Tahoe. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Loud and proud. Oh, excellent. It's a true honor to be here today. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. I'd like to recognize our Sonoma, our chief that is here today, Chief Terry Ball. Amazing leader. 40 years leadership. Thank you. Great neighbor on Granite Station. It's a true honor to be here with so many people here today and to recognize what a partnership. And that's my prayer that I'm going to share with you in our language. I just want you to sit and be connected to Mother Earth. I know sometimes people will say the teachings of stand for prayer. I want you to sit. I want you to be connected to Mother Earth. I want you to think of your loved ones. Send them prayers for them. Put it in. Oh, it's just knows and what we're not so. Every day of an inch, I don't know what to do. Let us honor, let us respect our humanness. They must do, not probably not. My people, let us unite, come together. Every day of an inch, I want to make so. Let us respect our ancestral lineage. Because we're the lineage. My people, let us help one another. Put the Maui down as I'm just very lost for sit down. Let us help one another. The way the Creator intended us to do. So please share our Mother Earth. Now that prayer is not only a prayer, but it's also the Mi'kmaq honor song. And it's a beautiful message. And I want to share that today because I believe that's what we're doing here today. We're coming together in a good way. We're helping one another in a good way. Federally, provincially, Indigenous governments, municipal. We're all coming together, but also these great workers that drive these tugboats. How about a big hand for those? And the safety and the security, big hand for them too as well. Dancers. Any camera crew. How about a big hand for the camera crew? Thank you. Beautiful today. Thank you. I did the phone. My hair's out of place. It's a true honor to share those words today. From my heart to your heart. I'll sit and all up. Time safely. Once again, I wouldn't be me. I did invite you all to the members of the Heritage Park. Get 10% off everything. Until 4:30 today. Well,
Thank you, Jeff. We will now christen each vessel in the new fleet one at a time, or each will have a short blessing, followed by the traditional bottle breaking ceremony. First, we have EverWind Pride, being christened by the Honorable Julie de Bruce. Thank you very, very much, Minister.
Oh, yeah, I don't.
Next, we will have Chief Terry Paul of Number 2. And this is one of EverWind's First Nation equity partners who will say a short blessing of Bingham before christening EverWind Rose Gold.
This is a much larger one than I drove a few months back here, somewhere behind here. And it's a good picture of it. I just want to say aan my Gisok. Also de my yacht wanneer is ja ula wali porta ula die nana ula de vai someone ik toe. De mocht central na mat kiegel. Me gonna kat kiegel de mocht central. Aha. Wanneer is mo na Argelane dat you up em lo wat me ja teen mo heavy you. I wanted to say that want to say a prayer to the Creator, asking him to make sure that these boats are operated safely and that the men and the women that operate them are safe when they do operate them, because they are going to be pushing a lot bigger boats than these, believe it or not. And we're just praying to the Creator that that everything goes well, and that it's very understood that what is going on here is really for the people in the country, particularly for this island, to have finally clean, green energy. You know that today, with all the things that we're doing, even electrically, 50% of it still comes from coal today. So we need to get that down. We need to get it down, and these will do that. Trent, thank you very much for picking Unamagi as your project. It's a major project. There's 3-4 phases to it. It's been an amazing trip with Trent. An amazing number of trips with Trent all over the world, and it's a very exciting project, and I'm very proud and very pleased that I'm just a small part of it, but a key part of it, because we're not only people that live here, but we're going to be investing heavily in this project. So thank you very much. And with that,
Next up, while you're still standing, Mayor Brendan Chisholm-Beaton and I will christen Dawson Duck back here. Blessings. Chief Terry Paul, Minister Bruson, and Mayor Chisholm-Beaton to come up front to accept gifts from Trent Vichy. Mr. de Bruson.
Thank you so much for being part of the journey, and please present this.
Chief Terry.
Thanks for taking time off the holiday. I'm so excited.
Mayor Brenda. our speakers, Mi'kmaq performers, and guests for making today so special. These vessels will serve the Strait of Canso and our people for many years to come, and it's an honor to welcome them to the region. Thank you all for being here. If there are media interested in doing interviews, please find Claire over by the tower over here, and she will help coordinate time with EverWind's CEO and team. Thanks again, everyone.
For the 2025-2026 school year, the Nova Scotia Before and After program will be available at Tamarack Education Centre in Port Hawkesbury through the YMCA of Cape Breton. According to the Department of Education and Early Childhood Development, the program is also adding spaces at some current locations to better meet the needs of families. In total, more than 1,200 new spaces are expected to be created for the 2025-2026 school year, they noted. The program provides care for children ages 4 to 12 enrolled in public school before classes begin and after they end, the province said, noting that care is provided at the school so students have a seamless day. Brendan Maguire, Minister of Education and Early Childhood Development, said before and after programs are convenient and affordable childcare options for families with school-aged children. He said his government is on a mission to make life easier for families and to ensure parents can find affordable childcare that meets their needs. The province said growing the Nova Scotia Before and After program is a priority, part of meeting Nova Scotia's commitments under the Canada-Nova Scotia Canada-wide Early Learning and Childcare Agreement. They said this year's increase was informed by a standardized provincial approach to establish need for before and after school care. Anna Gainey, Canada's Secretary of State for Children and Youth, said these new flexible and reliable before and after school spaces will make a big difference for parents who no longer have to choose between the price of daycare and building their careers. Gainey said her government will always support greater access to high-quality, affordable, and inclusive early learning and childcare that helps children reach their full potential. Program operators are currently preparing for the upcoming school year, including staffing the new and expanded locations, the province said. This school year, the province said 4,000 spaces are expected to be operational in more than 100 participating schools.
Joining me is the Director of Communications and Public Affairs for Université Sainte-Anne. Welcome, Rachel LeBlanc.
Hi, nice to be here.
So Université Sainte-Anne announced it received $845,750 in new government funding to offer training in early childhood education. The university said this will help build a qualified and committed workforce to provide educational services to young people.
Well, this is a program that has already been offered, for a few years. It's a well-established program. It's a 2-year online program offered across Canada that you take at your own speed from your own home. So it can be, you can adjust it to your schedules. So that's why it's useful for early childhood educators that are already working in a daycare setting.
So Université Sainte-Anne said it will collaborate with the Department of Education and Early Childhood Development to offer full scholarships to 30 new students enrolled in the Early Childhood Education Diploma Program, as well as to 15 new individuals enrolled in the Level 1 classification training for the 2025-2026 academic year. Part of the funding will also be invested in the development of the Recognition of Prior Learning and Competencies project and its associated assessments. How do students qualify for this scholarship?
Essentially, students need to be residents of Nova Scotia. For 30 of those bursaries, all the requirements are on our website, but the big requirement is that you need to be residing in Nova Scotia. And then an additional 15 students, those are ones that are already working in the sector. And so they need to have been working for at least 2 years to qualify for that. That's those secondary 15 bursaries.
So two-year projects will be carried out by Université Sainte-Anne. The first aims to offer specialized training in mental health, diversity, intercultural education, and managing children with special needs. So what do those projects entail, each of those? If you want, we can start with the mental health.
Well, The training in mental health is mostly for the early childhood educators. Those training modules will be offered by the CAPNE. That's the Centre d'Excellence pour l'Éducation et le Développement de la Petite Enfance. That's one of our partners at Université Sainte-Anne. So essentially, it's practical tools to better manage pressure, recognize signs of mental distress, and foster a more inclusive and supportive work environment for early childhood educators. It's also training for diversity in intercultural education, as well as management of children with special needs.
The second project will focus on promoting the early childhood profession within Francophone communities. So what does that entail?
That will probably at least 1 or 2 information sessions delivered to CSAP students or students in immersion programs in English-speaking schools to raise awareness about these programs and the career opportunities, the bursaries that are offered to them, to try to encourage them to consider early childhood education as a career. So any of our communities in Nova Scotia, I'm sure if you speak to people in the sector, they have difficulties finding French-speaking early childhood educators. So this program is really a way for us to try and help our community, because speaking in French at an early age is critical.
Université Sainte-Anne said it is committed to training a qualified workforce and meeting the growing need for quality educational child care services in Nova Scotia's Francophone communities, which you just alluded to. And so do you have any numbers or data to quantify it, or is it just you guys are well aware that there is a need to offer these services in French?
We are well aware that there's a need in every community, whether it be rural or urban. Myself, having had young kids in daycare, a few years ago, and having been involved with the daycare, I know that it's always, a challenge to finding French speakers, and especially qualified ones. And I'm sure that in smaller French communities, the need is even more important. So we're happy to be able to, offer these bursaries and hopefully encourage anyone to consider this as a career and become, involved in our early education sector.
And much like education beyond the early childhood, I suppose, giving parents this option of French is also is vital.
Exactly. We want to be able to offer French speaking in all ages, from early childhood to post-secondary to seniors. There are options all across the board. And so, and especially in early childhood education, it's important so that they continue into the CSAP system and then continue in post-secondary. But we can't do that if we don't have early childhood educators that speak French. And we know that in some instances, it's a big challenge to finding those French speakers for our daycares.
Petit de Grat, Minister of Jobs and Families, the federal minister, said the funding will enable 45 students from Université Sainte-Anne to acquire the necessary training to join a skilled workforce, helping to continue providing a better access to quality childcare services for Francophone families in Nova Scotia. How important is it to have this buy-in from not just provincial government, but also the federal government to be able to provide these programs?
It's critically important. And I mean, there's been major investments made in the last few years, which help to promote the sector. Pay has become better. The supports have been improved. So I mean, we need to value these employees that work with our children in our communities, and to be able to offer a high quality education in French as well is very important. And we're really happy to be able to receive this funding to be able to offer that.
So for those who are interested in taking the program, where should they be directed, and what steps should they take to be able to take that program?
All the information is available on our website. The website is etudescollegiales.ca. All our college level programs are listed on that website, including the one in early childhood education. And they can contact us, contact a recruiter, and we'll be happy to assist them and answer their questions.
Thank you for watching. Please tune in again to find out what we will be talking about on The Record.